say Wednesday, it's not Wednesday at all, it's Thursday at 12 o'clock, and so it is time for Movement Not Miracles. On a rather rainy Thursday, I'm not complaining, we need our grass to grow. So although it could stop raining during the daytime, that would be also quite useful. Don't want much really, do I? So the last couple of days we've spent a bit of time on backs and back mobility, in particular upper back mobility, and so I promised today that we do something slightly different. So we're going to do an all over, sort of start at the top and work our way down a little bit more. The idea, for those of you who have not watched Movement Not Miracles before, or not joined in with Movement Not Miracles before, is to give you some simple things that you can do to help keep your joints mobile and stop them from stiffening up, and some of the stretches and mobility moves you can do so that you have better posture and hopefully a few less aches and pains, because we tend to sit in the same positions all of the time, and that causes some stiffness in joints, and then we get the aches that go with it. So I'm just going to grab my yoga strap because I'm going to need that in a minute. So I'll stop wittering and we'll get on with it. We're going to start off with shoulder rolls. So, and to start off with, I just want you to think of, you can do this seated or standing, really shrugging your shoulders up towards your ears, and then a nice controlled move, squeezing your shoulder blades together and really stretching across the front of your chest, broad across your collarbones. And as you do that, think of really squeezing your shoulder blades on the back of your chest, and then bring your shoulders down and back up, around again. A really controlled, deliberate move. So be aware of your shoulder blades moving throughout the whole move. So being aware of the move that you're doing helps with the control and helps you get a little bit more mobility at the extremes of the move, which is what we're aiming for. So for this one, you need either a strap, I'm using a yoga strap, a yoga belt, or a dressing gown belt, or a broom handle, something so that you can brace your arms and hold onto. Shoulder dislocates, you can do, if you haven't got a belt, you can just do the big shoulder rolls with your arms. You don't get quite the same rotation unless you've got something to work with. So it's the same move. I have to start with my belt quite wide because my shoulders are not that flexible, and then you're going all the way over, and at the widest point, the furthest point, that's when your shoulder blades should really be pinching back, and then control the move all the way around. So control with this one is important, and don't force the joint to move more than it wants to. So if you need to have your arms wider to get all the way over the top, then that's absolutely fine. Also, the other thing I want you to think about is, as you do the move, don't let your bones stick out. So you need to be supporting your lumbar region, your lower back, by working through your belly, through your core. So your muscles in your tummy should be contracting, and your glute muscles in your bum should also be working to stabilise through the lower half of the body. If your lumbar starts moving, then you've got less control over that, and that's when you can start to do some pinching down there, which we don't want. Well, that feels a bit easier. I've obviously gone a bit wider. So work at the distance that means you get a nice big stretch, and you have to work through that move and it's still doable. And keep breathing as you go. It's just about there. So that's at the extreme of the move. And I'm really pinching my shoulder blades together. And then moving back down. And my phone's telling me it's got low battery. With a bit of luck, it's going to last throughout the whole session. We don't spend that much time, do we? So we should be fine. Okay, so I still need the belt. So the next one we're going to do is still working on shoulder mobility and also upper arm and upper back, a slightly different one. We haven't done this one for a little while. So I'll show you, I'll turn around and show you from behind first. I need a belt for one side of these. You're likely to have one side where you are more bendy than the other. So what you're aiming for is you're going to seated or standing, so think of your base, and you need to roll your shoulder back and down and then push one arm as high up your back as you can go. So this arm is not actually that bad for me. The other arm, you're going to reach up and get hold of your fingers so that you're interlocked, and the aim for the arm that's up by your ear is to bend your elbow and push your arm back. And for this arm, you're going to feel quite a deep stretch through the front of your shoulder and through your upper back. If you cannot reach your arm, then if I show you my other side, I'll show you first and then we'll work it through. So my right arm, the difference is that is as much movement as I can get through my right arm. I just haven't got any flexibility in that shoulder joint, which is fine. So what we can do is if you use the belt down your back, so get yourself set up and get hold of the belt with one hand and the other, and you can get exactly the same action as if you're interlocking your fingers, because now I can pull on the belt on my arm that's raised by my ear, and I still get the stretch through the front of that shoulder, even though I can't get my arm all the way up my back. So we're going to do that again on each side and just hold it for slightly longer this time. So think of arm all the way up your back, shoulder back and down. This arm, reach nice and high first, and then bend your elbow and reach back to interlock your fingers, and then really think of pushing the elbow back. So you're trying to straighten through the armpit, and don't forget to breathe and relax. So it's quite a deep stretch in your shoulders, this one. So if you need to use the belt, please do. And take it nice and gradual. So a bit of a tactical waggle, and then we'll do the same with the other side. So if you throw the strap over first, and then just encourage that arm to go as much as it will go. And hold the strap as high as you can. You are aiming to get your hands as close together as possible, but I know my limitations on this shoulder. I can still feel the stretch. For the more observant amongst you, you'll see that my right shoulder, the one that is not pointing up by my ear, my right arm is, the shoulder's pointing forwards, and I cannot rotate it backwards. It just will not go. I've had a couple of injuries over the past, and it's had an operation, and I just think it's got clogged. It doesn't stop me doing anything, so it's not a major issue. And we're just going to keep breathing into that. Okay, and relax it down. So, it definitely feels a bit more space in between in those shoulder joints, which is good. Side bends now. So, sort of, we're concentrating on the spine. Again, you can do this seated or standing. Weight evenly distributed, and we'll start off by just reaching down one side. Try and keep your body in the same plane, so we're not leaning forwards and reaching down. So you're keeping your body nice and vertical, and then reaching down as far as you can go. You can have your feet a little bit wider to do this. So we reach down one side and then down the other side. And we'll do a couple more on each side, and each time you reach down, each time you breathe out, just try and go a little bit further. So again, we're aiming for control, but you work as far as you can go, and you should find as you do a couple more and your muscles start to relax a little bit and your joints get used to the move, you might be able to go a tiny bit further. So now we're going to introduce the arm over the top. So you still get the movement down the side, so still think of pushing down with one arm, but now you're going to reach over with the other, so you get a nice stretch down the opposite side of the body. And I think of pushing my hip that way and my rib cage up that way as you're stretching your arm over. So push your hip away, that way, arm goes that way, and rib cage goes up towards the corner of the room. And again, we'll do a couple more on each side. So you get a bit more movement through all of your spine, and moving the spine in a slightly different way. So you're encouraging the vertebrae to move a little bit. They don't move loads, but they should move a bit. And one more on this side. Okay. And then we're just going to concentrate, still a side bend, but we're going to concentrate on the upper back a little bit. So we're going back to that stabilising the lower half of the body by using your core and your bum. So you'll use the core to get the side bend move as well, but now I want you to use it to stabilise this part. We're going to do elephant ears. So hands interlock behind your head, and this time as you point the elbow towards the floor, you're just going to concentrate on moving through that upper back region. So it's not a full side bend, it's isolating sort of the part of your back in between your shoulder blades and a little bit higher, which is still causing me a bit of grief. So I am still working on it. I do have to say, I think it's getting a bit better, but it needs some attention. And we'll do one more on each side. There we go. And then this time, we're all going to do a seated twist. So if you sit in your chair, and I want you to sit on the edge of your chair if I swivel round. So you are not leaning back into the backrest of your chair, and you're sitting up nice and tall. So we'll move around this way first. One hand over and get hold of the outside of your thigh, feet flat on the floor, and think of resisting that arm with that leg. And then you reach for the back of the chair. If you can reach for the top of the back of the chair, that's fine, or you can reach lower down as well. And you're aiming to twist, so I'm pulling with this arm and pulling with this arm. So I'm using my body to resist and twist all the way round. And keep breathing, and each time you breathe out, see if you can twist a tiny bit more. I'll just swizzle round and we'll do the other side. So other arm over opposite leg, sitting nice and tall to start off with, and swizzle round. Breathe out. Each time you breathe out, twist a tiny bit more. And we'll do once more on this side. And once more on this side. Nice and tall and broad across your collarbones, and don't forget to breathe. Okay. And then whilst we're seated, last one for today, bit of a glute stretch, hip stretch. So one ankle resting on your mid-thigh. Now when this happens, don't let this happen. So if I swivel around here, we don't want to sink down. We still need to be sitting tall. So push through your foot on the floor to help lengthen through your body, and just gently push that knee down towards the floor, and you should feel that stretch in your outer hip. And then to increase that, you're just going to lean forwards a little bit. Think of leaning forwards from your groin. So we're not leaning forwards with our head and letting our back flop back. Back stays tall, and you just lean forwards as if someone's pulling the whole of your body forwards. And lean into that, and then suplex. Rest your ankle mid-thigh, sit nice and tall. Push with that foot on the floor to help lengthen through your spine. Gently ease that knee towards the floor, and then just lean forwards to increase that stretch. Okay, so that's giving you some ideas and some of the things that you can do for shoulders, upper back, mid back, and to work through your hips. You can do that whilst you're sitting at your table or your desk. You can do some of the shoulder moves, the rolling and the shrugging of the shoulders, whilst you're waiting for the kettle to boil. So the more frequently we keep our joints moving, then the more likely they are to stay mobile and not stiffen up. And when we get stiff in any one part of our body, because our body works together, it works in a chain. If one part is stiff, then other parts of our body have to compensate, and that's why we get a knock-on impact from one part of our body being stiff or injured. So keeping moving is a really, really good idea, and I guarantee, and I'm exactly the same, we could all move more, our joints more than we do. So hopefully that's given you some ideas of things you can do just to help throughout the day. Check out the website www.eatmovebehappy.com. Lots more ideas on mobility stuff, some tutorials on how to do certain moves and exercises, workout with us, workout plans, so you don't have to think about what you need to do. We'll do the thinking for you, and you can work out along with us. We call it sort of workout Lego. You can build your own workouts depending on what your goals are, how much time you've got, and what you fancy doing on the day, and hopefully have a bit of fun whilst you're doing it. We've also got Eat Better to give you some ideas on how to change your eating habits, and a mental health series to help you with some resources and top tips and techniques, and raise your awareness of what mental health actually means for you and how you can look after that for yourself and influence that for others. And there's loads more stuff around well-being, health and well-being and fitness. So check out the website, and obviously the peer support group, so keep in touch with us via that on Facebook. Have a lovely Thursday, and I will see you again tomorrow. Thank you for watching.